everyone, this is Predpool. Welcome back. Here I'm doing another review. It's been a while since I've done one. Today we're doing one from Xesray Studios, from their line Combatants Fight for Glory. And the character we're talking about is Berenice, the quotation Macedonian Spear. So this is from one of the current waves that they released. Basically it's 3 females and then they have 2 trainee guys that one can purchase. I got mine from 5K Toys. At the time of pre-order, the total was about $42. The price has gone up since then. Now they're selling about $64, which is pretty much the same they're selling at big bag toy stores. So if you're interested in getting this figure, this is some of the places that you can look for if you want to pay that price. So let's start off first with the packaging. They went slightly different with the packaging this time for the females. It's more of a box. On the side here you have as far as like the history, as far as the of the Fight for Glory line, and then in the back you have her bio. So if you want to pause and read it, you may do so if you wish. And it has a really nice picture of her in the back in a walking pose. And then on the side we have a larger picture of her here. Now what's neat about these figures, they come with kind of like a little mini dial. So you can take out this insert and you got this that you can utilize for her, kind of like similar to, again, the picture that you see back here posing, where you got that here also to do your own pictures if you wish. It's a little bit short, so you kind of have to do close-ups, but it is a nice little addition that's given to you in the packaging. So let's get straight into the figure itself. Here I have her without her armors, different accessories. Now, if you look at her, most of her stuff that she has on are removable. Like if you were to heat her arms and her legs and so forth, you can take off this armor on this shoulder here, her leg, and also her gauntlets. They are removable. So it's very nice as far as customization. If you wish to do so and buying some of these figures and creating different characters, you can do so. So that's a nice little addition. Let's go ahead and jump into articulation. She has 2 joints, one in her neck. No, my apologies, I wasn't correct. She has one in her, just her ball joint here on her head that she can move around, but it has a nice, you can give her the attitude look with it. She looks fairly, because of the hair in the back, a little restrictive. Looking down, she has a decent range. She has a joint on her chest area that she can move around. Now, when you do move around, her armor is a separate piece, as I mentioned before, and they're very when they made these figures, they made them accurate. Is the word I want to use. So when you move her, say her upper part, you're gonna expose her chest. So if that's something that you're not really wanting to do, you just have to be mindful when you're posing her for pics, whatnot. This chest area is going to expose her anatomically correct chest area. So you kind of, again, want to keep her chest kind of always in the same position if you don't want that look. As far as her shoulders, they move quite nice. They have this big ball joint there. Single jointed elbow. Her wrists are kind of similar if you're familiar with the McFarlane figures. They have that little ball joint that if you move the hand around, you can do the whole up and down movement, or side to side, however you want. So it is as far as adjustable, the position that you want for her wrist. As far as her legs, she has double jointed knees. The same goes for her ankles. Regarding kind of like her wrist, they are, you can move the feet around and get different positions. They are a little bit more hindered than the wrist as far as doing that, but that same kind of ball joint is on there. Then as far as her here on her waist, she has this type of joint, which is flexible. It can move around. So she doesn't have a cut here for as far as thigh swivel, but she does have some movement here that she can adjust to. So really decent. If you're familiar with some of like the joints of those, think of it as a hybrid of McFarlane figures and Mythic Legions. So it's got a little bit of both. She does fit in very well, in my opinion, with Mythic Legions line. She is a little bit taller than some of their figures that they have over there, especially the female figures. She is a little bit taller than them, but not as far as that's too noticeable, like if you were to buy a McFarlane figure again and put into, say, to that line. As far as accessories, she has quite a bit of accessories. And what's neat about this figure, you can, if you wanted to, you can buy quite a few of them. And you could basically army build and create different characters if you wish. So let's start off with as far as her armor. She does have this shoulder armor that's quite nice. They can put, see if I can focus. There you go. So it's quite nice painted and detailed. And the way this goes on, she has on this piece here, she has like a socket that you can just plug this in. And there you go. So now she has that on. So it fits quite nicely on her. As far as her helmet, this is kind of like a softer plastic material. So when you first get in the package, it's a little bit warped. It kind of comes in a little bit squished, in other words. But once you put it on, it starts adjusting to her size. And it's not difficult to put on or remove. And I love the brushing that they did here on her feathery type hairy part of the helmet. So it's kind of like got some black in there. So it's like a little bit weathered. So that's very nice. It's not a flat white, in other words. So it's nice to have. And this fits quite nicely on her head. Now another nice feature about this is what I mentioned about before. You can change in the look. So you have it with this look, you have it with the helmet, but then she comes with an extra hair piece that you can put on her to change her look again. So she has like a little hole here in which the hair itself has, I don't know if you can see it, it has like a little pen that you can just securely put her hair on there. So again, changing her look. And something that I noticed by doing this is that her hair color is also different, slightly. It's not going to focus very well, I think. There you go. The hair color on the actual sculpt is kind of like a brownish, while the hair piece is completely black. It's not that noticeable here on the camera, but in person you do see it or notice it, which again adds to the fact that you can again create different characters if you wish to do so, buy more than one of these. As far as weapons, she does come with 3 items that you can add to her. She comes with this shield, which is just a beautiful shield. Actually looks like it was metal, but it's not. It's plastic. And then she has the arm guard that which you can slide her arm in there. But yeah, it's a very, very nice shield. She comes with a sword, which also is very nice, very metallic, nice paint job on it. And her spear. Hence, that's why in the box, this is supposed to be basically her primary weapon. She's supposed to be an expert with a spear. So, but it's very nicely done. Now, the only concern I have with regarding her weapons is that the grip on her sword and the grip on her spear, they're different. So the spear is a thicker grip, where her sword is a bit thinner. So if you were to keep the spear on her hand, her grip is going to be wider. So then if you decide to use the sword, her sword is going to be loose. So I have not used the spear. I prefer the sword. So she's got a decent grip on the sword because I haven't used the spear. Just something to be mindful. Now she does have storage in the back for her sword. And this is another gripe I have with the figure, to be honest. This sword's supposed to go through here, and it is a pain to do so. If you notice, you can push it in there, and you see other reviewers. I even saw one stab his hand and start bleeding because he tried to force the sword through there. So I don't plan to do so with this. And the other thing I'm concerned about, if I were to keep trying to put the sword through this holster, I guess, I think you eventually could start rubbing paint off of it. So they needed to make this a little bit wider to hold the sword in there. Or you may perhaps try heating it to soften it up, maybe wind it that way, but I, for one, am not going to be doing that. So that's another thing that I wish they had improved on this figure. Another thing that I kind of forgot to mention, does have extra hands. She comes with these two fist hands. They can remove, and if you want to have them punching someone. So you have these available. And then she comes pre-already with like two these type of hands to hold weapons, and then kind of more of the relaxed hands. So what I did, I put one of the relaxed hands for the shield. This type of hand is easier to put the shield to hold, like that second, this part here. So I've seen others trying to use this hand, which is for more of a weapon, but this more relaxed hand is better. You can slide the arm with the arm guard and just slide the other hand in there. So basically you want to do is just slide that. And just give me a minute. It is even more difficult with the other. There we go. So she's now able to have her shield and it won't slide off. And that hand is good enough to hold it in place. So overall, I love this figure. It does have its faults. The chest plate, as far as exposing too much for my taste. The back for the sheath to hold the sword in the back is too small. To keep putting that sword in there, you might risk rubbing paint off of it or causing damage to yourself. Would have been nice to have double jointed elbows. But other than that, this is a great figure. Again, I got it for around $42 back when it was on pre-order. The price has gone up. So, you decide for yourself whether you feel it's worth it to pay about $60-something for this figure. I personally am glad to have this in my collection, and I plan to keep posting more pictures online on Twitter of this figure. All right, I hope this review was helpful. Whether decide whether you want to pursue and get in this figure or not. Again, it fits perfect with Mythic Legions. It's a great figure to add to there. So, like for example, I plan to keep her mostly with one of the figures I have, which is Vitus or Vitus. And here I have them together, in which I think, she makes a good Mercurian female soldier to fit in with them. I put a custom head on my figure, and I painted the shoulder pattern for him that I got from the Gladiator army builder that came out. So, but anyways, this is how I plan to utilize it, have her with him as forming a part of the army for Mythic Legions. All right, again, I hope you enjoyed this review, and I hope it was beneficial. Please like or subscribe, and until I do another review someday. All right, take care and enjoy collecting.